Hello everyone, welcome to Water Tech with Todd. I'm your host, Todd Schneider, and today we're going to be going over the Powers Intellistation Jr. In a past video, you guys saw me talking about more of our thermostatic mixing valves. Now what we want to do is move this over to more of our digital aspect and some of the features and the benefits. Now in this video, I'm going to start off with just kind of going over some of the key components of this valve. The next thing we're going to be talking about is the correct piping of one of these valves, and then last on here is going to be doing just a basic startup so you're ready to go for it when you get it installed. All right, so let's go over a couple of these key components. Now the first thing you're going to notice right here is going to be our control box. So this is kind of where everything's kind of taking place. You'll see we have a 3.5-inch touchscreen. We're able to make all of our changes, anything like that. The other major factor we have on this one is going to be our Siemens actuator. This is what's allowing everything to kind of blend back and forth. Another feature is going to be our mixed outlet sensor. This is kind of the brains of the entire operation. And lastly, will be more behind it, and that's going to be our three-way ball valve, where we're actually going and blending all of our water back and forth. And we'll talk about how we do that in a little bit versus how we are adjusting our thermostatic to how we're blending water with our digital. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is going to be this control box. Now, this is where we're going to be making a lot of our changes. We're also able to actually see exactly what our temperatures coming in and then what our temperatures are going out. So we'll talk a little bit more about this when we do the startup of it. But in this feature, you can obviously see we have our setup, monitoring toolbox. We have our sanitation mode we'll get into a little bit. Also scheduling, Wi-Fi, and then our time. Next major feature is going to be our actuator. Now, our actuator is actually going to be hooked directly up to our three-way ball valve in the back. And this is actually what's going to be operating our three-way ball valve back here, able to blend that hot and that cold water to whatever your desired set temperature is going to be. Now, our last feature we're going to talk about is going to be our one sensor that we have on this system. Now, this mixed outlet sensor is kind of like the brains of the operation. It's going to tell you exactly what our temperature is inside this three-way ball valve, relaying it back to our control box, which is then actually sending it back over to our actuator. Okay, so now that you know some of the key components of all of this, what we're going to do is we're going to get into the piping, and that's where I see a lot of people having questions. So on this here, what we're going to have is we're going to have our hot water entering the unit. We'll have our cold water entering through the side, and our mixed outlet to the building heading up and out. Now, one of the big things we have to realize is these all have a minimum flow requirements, just like a lot of ASSE 1017 valves will have. So what we're going to do is we're also going to have our return water going back to the building. We're going to be going through, on this one, we have an Armstrong circulating pump, drawing water back from the building, and coming through our cold water bypass, which is very, very important to have in there, and then also our return going back down to the boiler itself. This is a key component to make sure we can keep our minimum flow requirements at this valve itself. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the piping, and it's not very hard, but say you say, hey, I don't want all this. I'd love to have something where everything comes together. This unit can actually come completely pre-piped and ready to go, where we have our hot, our cold, our return, and our return back to the boiler itself. Also our cold water bypass already built in, set up on a skid, and ready to be hung up in the building. Okay, so now we understand all of our key components. We've got all our piping. The next step is, hey, let's get this started up. And one thing that's really nice about this is you're not going to find me with any laptop. I'm not going to be hooking a laptop onto it. You're also going to find that I don't have sensors that I've got to rewire up. What we're going to do is we're going to just go a very easy startup. And the first thing we're going to do when we get to this unit is you're going to notice that it's preset at 140 degrees, but I need to get it down a little bit for this building application. So I'll be hitting Program, Unlock, 10, 17, and Enter. Now what you're going to do is you're going to come up to a screen that's going to say, hey, listen, if you go any further by accepting it, now you're going to be making some changes, but I'm going to do that, so I want to hit Accept, and I want to go to my Setup. I will hit my Systems. Now, the first thing you're going to see there is valve selection. When this is brand new, you're going to be selecting which valve you're going to be going with. So I'm going to hit my valve selection. Now, on the valve selection, you're going to have 3/4 or 1 inch, or you'll have 1.5 inch and 2 inch. So this one here, having 3/4, I'm going to accept that I'm using a 3/4 and a 1 inch. I'll go back to my systems, and now's when I want to choose my mixed outlet set point. So I'll tap on that. on this application, I really want to bring my water down to 120. So I can hit my arrow, or I can just drag it down, bring it up to 120. Now, once I have it at my set temperatures, I'm going to hit accept. Now, what you're going to find is you're going to have a high limit and a low limit. I like to set mine right around 15 degrees, either way, up or down. Once I'm happy with everything here, I'm going to hit back. I'll hit back again, and then I'm going to hit home. Now, as soon as I hit home, you're going to find that, hey, this actuator is going to start kicking in, and our mixed outlet water is going to start going up. Okay, now that we got our startup complete, you'll notice that it's coming up that we're maintaining our set point. We have our mixed outlet set at 120. We have our mixed outlet, which is coming from our sensor right here, and that's now set at 120. Now, what's really nice about these new digitals is that this is going to keep our water within plus or minus 2 degrees. Now, if you go back over to our older style, which we're keeping it right in the code, more of our thermostatics, that's more of a plus or minus 7 degrees in either direction. So with our digital, we're able to hold a much tighter range, a much tighter set point. Okay, so we understand our process. We've got everything. We've got our piping. We're now setting up. We're maintaining. Just remember, on this valve itself, if you don't want to come down and actually look at this valve and have to do, a written report, this also comes with the option already built in that we can hook right into your building automation system, BACnet, Modbus. It's already pre-built into the system, so it's ready to be hooked up. So instead of seeing this temperature down here, we're able to actually see it in your office as a live view of what my temperature is going out to my building, and you're able to keep track of it that way. Now, this is just our 3/4 inch model. I will tell you, this model here will go from 3/4 in and out all the way up to a 2-inch in and out based on what we're going to be doing. Now, if you have some requirements that's going to require a lot more flow, we can also move over to our Powers Intellistation Sr. Now, this one right here has got a lot more features on it. We have a lot of sensors, a lot of pressure, but everything's hooked up. We can do more of a larger building, and we have a lot more set points on this system as well. Okay, so we've talked a lot about this unit, the setup, but here's one of my questions that comes to me all the time is, hey, Todd, this is all hooked up to 110 volt. What happens when we have some sort of power issue where our power goes down? How is this going to send hot water out to my building? This is a great question. And what we have on the side of our actuators, we actually have a chuck sitting right here. So we'll be able to push this button in and then reach up over the top and actually manually guide this to where we want it to be. If we need it a little bit more in a hot position, we'll push our chuck back in. We're going to move our armature more to the back. If we want to go more back to the cold, we're going to push it back into the cold position, release the chuck, and now we're actually going to be manually mixing this valve here. Now, power comes back onto this unit. What you're going to notice is that you're going to have about a 70-second startup time on this, but it does have the memory, and that memory is going to last up to about 8 years. And if you got more than 8 years with power down, we've got a little bit more problems. But if this would go down for 20 minutes, 2 hours, 5 hours, don't worry. When power comes back up to the unit, all of your presets are already going to be saved back into this. Okay, so power's back on. We're back up and running. Now, one of the only maintenance things that I can suggest is back here at our fast actuating sensor. And I already have one that's sticking out here. That's going to be our sensor. It's very easy. You'll want to power down your unit, and then you can reach back, unplug this unit, back our sensor out. We'll have it right here. Now, based on your water quality that you're going to have with going into this unit is really going to determine how much you need to work on this. If you have extremely hard water, I would suggest maybe once every 6 months, once every year, kind of pulling this sensor back out, maybe cleaning it off, soaking it in a little bit of white vinegar. Or once a year, you just go ahead, pull that out, change it. It's very simple. We're just going to shut our water down to this unit, basically unplug it, pull this back out, change this sensor out, and you should be good for at least a minimum 1 year. All right, hopefully this video's helped you guys out. Hopefully you guys understand the components, you're understanding the piping, the startup, which is so simple, anybody can jump in and do this. If you happen to be in the Ohio, Indiana, or Kentucky market and you want to come in, there's a lot more features that I didn't go over just because I want to try to keep this video as short as possible. But if you're in those areas and you'd like to come in yourself or bring your team in, we can really dial into some of the other features such as the sanitation mode and other features such as the backnet, Bluetooth, everything else that we have options on here. Also, if you're looking for some other great videos, you can also go to Watts Water Technology and check out Gary Parker with his Contractor Corner. They put out some amazing videos with some really good information.